Hey you! Are you trying to get trillions of honey while sleeping? Well, look no further cause I will be showing you the ultimate blue hive guide. I will be showing you the hive and the macro settings. First of all, of course, we will need a gifted basic bee for the 20% more pollen. Then you also need a gifted bomber bee for the 15% more bomb pollen. If you didn't already know, blue hive make most of their honey from bombs. Anyways, you will need the gifted bumblebee for the 10% more capacity. You need capacity, so you stay on the field for a longer time. Also, your balloon scales with your capacity. You will need the coolest bee in the game. Of course, I'm talking about Cool Bee. Cool Bee grants you 15% extra blue pollen. And since you are a blue hive, you want blue pollen, right? You also want a gifted lucre bee, because it gives you 25% more critical power. More critical power makes the bombs explode even more and grant you more honey. This one is optional, but if you want, also add a gifted stubborn bee. Stubborn bee is good for macrowing because it makes so the tokens doesn't despawn that fast. Stubborn is good for macrowing. Since there will also be a lot of bubbles, add a gifted bubblebee. Bubblebee is handy cause it gives 50% more pollen from bubbles. You will need a gifted bucko bee because it grants you 20% more blue field capacity. Also, bucko bee gives a blue boost token which gives you more blue pollen, of course. Gifted commander bee is also kinda good cause it gives you focus token and 3% more critical chance. Gifted frosty bee is very important cause it grants you 25% more blue bomb pollen, and a great addition, it also gives blue bomb plus. This is also optional, but you can use shock bee for the haste token and for the token link. If you don't want to use it, replace it for a buoyant bee. Gifted diamond bee is a very important bee because it grants you 20% more convert rate. Also, as a bonus, it drops the blue boost token. The convert rate is very important because normally the ballons would take ages to convert, but diamond bee speeds up that process. Also used for music bees for the melody, but if you have a kazoo, replace a music bee for a buoyant bee. Then add a gifted ninja bee for the blue bomb plus. Ninja bee is also good because it scales with diamond masked passive, diamond drain. For now, we will need to skip the mythics because the amount of them will be different depending on your decisions on the optional bees. You will need a gifted bear bee because it 10% more pollen and the bear morph is op. This is optional, but you can use a digital bee if you boost often. If you only macro, I recommend removing it. Add gifted gummy bee for the 5% honey per pollen. I don't have much to say, just add a gifted gummy bee. Tabby bee is very good cause it gives 50% more critical powers, and the scratch token is good for filling balloons. Windy bee is also good cause the tornado is good for popping bubbles and collecting more loot. I recommend using windy bee. Now let's talk about the mythics. Let's start with fuzzy bee. You will need a gifted fuzzy bee for the 10% more bomb pollen. Also, the pollen haze is very good. This is very different from person to person, but if you macro with at least 3 other people, then 8 tadpoles will be enough for keeping your bubble blowed up. But if you macro alone, like a real Sigma during Pain Hub, use 11 tadpoles. Now, how many buoyant bees will depend on your decisions on the optional. Just fill in the rest of the hive slots with buoyant bees. Now we have covered the hive, let's talk about the amulets. First, the Supreme Star Amulet. Try getting these stats. Don't forget Pop Star and try getting Star Shower if you can. Now the Supreme Ant Amulet. Try getting these stats. Now the Moon Amulet. Try getting these stats. Supreme Shell Amulet. Try getting these stats. Stick Bug Amulet. Try getting these stats. No blue hive is ever getting over a silver amulet, so let's skip Cog Amulet. Let's talk about macro settings. I'm too lazy to talk about the settings, so I'm just going to show them. First, the settings to macro, or whatever. Try playing around with the time, it all depends on how much you fill up your balloons. Don't forget drift comp. Now the boost settings. If you are rich unlike me on blue extracts, put blue extracts in your hotbar, and then go to hotbar slots and set grinding on whatever slot you chose for the blue extracts. Also on field boost, use blue. Do quests if you want. The settings are different for everyone, so find the fitting settings for you. The planter settings, just copy mine. And I think that's it. Don't forget to sleep and macro. Bye bye, subscribe or no mythic bees.
おいおいおい上に上がりゃ関係ねえ